For this lesson, we're going to look at two-dimensional arrays, so 2D arrays. So firstly, a 2D array can be represented as a table of data or visualized as a table of data. And it's basically an array inside another one. So here we have the indexes for the arrays for a 2D array. So we've got column, rows, column, rows. Now, again, it starts with zeros. Indexes always start with zeros in arrays. So 0, 0 will represent column 1 and row 1. 0, 1 will represent row 0, 1 represents row 1, column 2, and so on. So here we have an example. So we got row 0 and column 1. Now, this is how you create a 2D array. So we have to start with double square bracket. Rather than one square bracket, you put double square bracket. Now, firstly, the first array, so index 0, so this index 0, if I only print array 0, it will print 3, 2, and 1. But if I want to print part of it, then it will be done using 0 and then 1. So the first number represents the row, second number represents the column. So 0, 1, this will display number 2. So the first arrow you can see is pointing to the first array, and then the second arrow is pointing to the exact number, which is 2. So 0, 1 will display 2. Here we have another one. So we've got array on row 1. So row index 1. So index 1, which is row 2, and then column 2. So column index 2, which is column 3, basically. So this will display number 4. Here we have an example of another one, but this one using letters. So we got letters 1, 1. So the first array is 0, so we don't need to go through that. We go to the second array. So GST. GST is on index 1. Then for the second number 1, that's the S. So the first one is S because we started from 0. So G is 0, S is 1. Letters 0, 2. So 0 is the first array, and then 2 is on index 2, which is the C, because A is on 0, B is on 1, C is on 3. Okay. Now we've got a nested for loop. So you can use a nested for loop to loop through a 2D array. Now, a nested for loop means a for loop inside another one. So the first for loop will go through the array, the rows. The second one will go through the columns. So you have to count how many arrays we have inside it. So we have 2 arrays. So ABC, that's one array. GST, that's another one. So 2 arrays. So you go from 0 up to 2. Because remember, the 2 is not included. It's 0, 1. For column in range of 0 to 3, because we have ABC and then GST, 3 columns in each one. That's why we're looping from 0 to 3. Now, firstly, row starts with 0 for row in range. Row starts 0, column starts with 0. Now, the first output is 0, 0. So print letter 0, 0, which means it's going to print the first one, which is the A. Then row will stay 0 because we're not going outside, we're still inside the inner loop. We're still inside for column in range. Once for column in range finishes, then the row will increase. The row will not increase otherwise. For column in range, so it becomes 1 now. And then 0, 1, that represent index 0, so array 0, and then 1, which is the B. Then it stays as 0, and then that increases to 2. And then 0, 2 represents C. Now the inside for loop is finished. Because it's finished, now the row will increase. The row will go down, well, up to 1. When it's 1, again, columns will start from 0 again. 1 is 0. 1 where 0 represents G. And then 1, 1 will represent S. 1, 2 will represent T.